You all ready to start back up? Okay, I screwed up the footer, so we're going to fix it right now. So go into your footer. You've got class equal footer, correct? Okay. Everything that you've got in between there, you know, the H1, whatever is there, just remove it. So I just want a blank line in between the footer, class equal footer, and your ending footer tag. All right. Then type in the word span, S-P-A-N, space, class equals, then in double quotes, text hyphen muted, all in lowercase. So span, class equal, text muted, then end your span tag, in other words, you're greater than, but now we're going to put some text in between those two, the beginning and the ending span tags. All right. So type in there, you can hit enter, however you do it, however you want to, you know, set it up on the screen. Stock, space, ticker, space, app, every word capitalized, but 3 different words. Stock, space, ticker, space, app. Ampersand, copy, semicolon, which puts in the copyright symbol. So ampersand, copy, semicolon, space, hyphen, space, 2020, space, your name, with a comma at the end, space, all rights reserved. Save it, bring it back up again on the screen, and verify that indeed now all you have is that bar at the top, your nav bar that says stock ticker, home about contact with the search, and then down below that you've got in later letters stock ticker app, copyright symbol / 2020, your name, comma, all rights reserved. You got all that? Good.
Should it be at the bottom or no?
Not yet. We'll move it down there later. It's no big thing one way or the other. All right. Now I'm gonna, like I said, I'm telling you a few things here. What I decided to do was all of the assignments that Paul did, he used handlebars. We're gonna look at EJS because that's what we've been using in our book. But you're gonna learn handlebars too. Okay? And Paul is showing the people EJS even though he's using handlebars. So I'm showing you handlebars even though we're using EJS. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Now, when you do this, and this is what I want you to do, is I want you to go up into a browser window, and I want you to type in there express-handlebars. Express-handlebars. And the first thing that should show on there is you should have a link that says express-handlebars-npm. You see that? Click that link, please. There's a few things that I want to mention about this. All right? Handlebars, like EJS, they're both referred to as templating engines. What we want to eventually be able to do with this is we want to have 3 pages. We want the header on each page to be basically set up the same, except it might have a different title, okay? We want the footer on each page to be identical. Does that make sense? We want to write it once, but use it 3 times. That's what we're able to do using handlebars. So we're going to start doing that now. We're going to get this to work, and I think we're going to get to what I want to have done to work by the end of the period. In fact, probably well before that. But it's not the way I want to do it, so once we get to that point, we might just stop for today. All right? Okay. So when you look in here, it says a handlebars view engine for Express, I like that, which doesn't suck. I like that. You can read the goals and all that stuff yourself. That's totally fine. All right? But start arrowing down, go down a little bit, and it says installation. Can you see that? And it's got npm install express-handlebars. Can you see where I am?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Grab that line and don't do anything with it yet, but grab it, copy it to the clipboard. We're going to paste it into our Git window, but at the end, we're going to put -- save. Okay? So I'm going back to my Git window here, and I'm pasting that in. So I now have npm install express-handlebars space -- save, and hit enter. We are now bringing in that particular module into our program, but we're going to have to use a require for it in just a minute. Now, what I want you to at least hear, it may or may not make sense to you, but in the newest versions of Express, they're saying now that using -- save is redundant because it's supposed to automatically do that for you anyway. That said, I'm not taking any chances. Okay? So, it should have added that now.
How did you put that in?
I put in npm space, install space, express, express hyphen, handlebars, handlebars, like it's one word, so express minus handlebars, space, minus save. Mine came back and said added 10 packages from 42 contributors and audited 187 packages and a bunch of other stuff. All right. The other thing that we should be able to see now, if not a big thing, but we can go look at it, all right, is if we go back into code for a second and you bring back up your package.json file, you should notice that underneath your dev dependencies, you now have two dependencies. Express, which we added first, and the express hyphen handlebars, which we just added. You've got both those? Good. All right. Now, I'm going back in my browser window, and we just saw this thing that says installation, right? Start arrowing down, and you see where it says usage. It's right underneath where you just did the install stuff. No, you just got installation on that page, right? Okay, just keep arrowing down, go down, and the next thing that's there should say the word usage.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Then if you look, this is what I want you to understand from this, okay? And that is, the way that this is set up, we are going to have to make a folder called views, okay? Normally, we would have done this first, and we would have put that index.html file right in views, the one that we worked on before. We're not even going to use the index.html in just a couple minutes. But we're going to create a folder underneath our Node stock app, and we're going to call it views. Got that? Underneath that folder, we're going to create a file that they have here, but we're not going to use home.handlebars. At least we're going to try index.handlebars because that's our index page. Okay? Under the views folder, we're going to create that file, but also under the views folder, we're going to create another folder called layouts, and we're going to put a file in there called main.handlebars. Can you look at that picture that's right there? Does it make sense to you how they want you to set it up? So go ahead and do that. So go back into Visual Studio Code, all right, on your Node stock app that's right there. We're first going to create a new folder that we're going to call views. Once that, and I call mine view instead of views, and it actually would like views. So call it views. All right, then in that, click on that folder and click add a folder, and put another folder in there called, was it layout or layouts? I think it was with an S. Layouts. This is getting so screwed up. in our views folder, we want to go and we want to add a new file. And that file is to be called home.handlebars, but we're going to call it index.handlebars. So create a new file under views called index.handlebars. You may notice it's got a little different icon for it. It actually looks like, supposedly it looks like a handlebar mustache. See that? Oh, okay.
It says handlebar source for the file, but it didn't change the picture.
Oh. Well, I think I might have an extension loaded that shows the different kinds of extensions. So, all right. Okay, so you created your layouts folder underneath there too, correct? And in your layouts folder, you want to create a new file, and that should be called main.handlebars. So make sure your main.handlebars file, make sure that one is inside of your layouts folder, and make sure your home.handlebars file is in your views folder. All right, you're confident that that's the case? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, good. Now, what we will eventually, not this second, but eventually what we're going to want to do is we're going to want not to have just an index.handlebars file in here, but we're going to want an index.handlebars, an about.handlebars, and a contact.handlebars file. Those will go to each one of the pages. So to the about page, to the contact page, or to the home page. Does that make sense? Okay. So what we want to do now, and that's why I said this is going to sound screwy, but I want you to go back to your index.html file. I want you to grab everything that's in that file. However you do it, I do a Control-A, Control-C, but however you do it, we don't want to get rid of it yet, but we're going to get rid of it soon. So just copy everything that's in there. Go over to your main.handlebars file and paste everything in there. Got it? All right. In between where you put your nav bar and your footer, so right up above the footer, I want you to put in 3 sets of curly braces. Curly brace, curly brace, curly brace, all 3 left ones, then type in the word body, and after that you're going to have 3 right curly braces. So curly, left curly, left curly, left curly, curly rather, the word body in lowercase, right curly, right curly, right curly. Okay? And we haven't done this for a bit, so let's do a file save. What that is, body is a placeholder. And eventually what we're going to have is in there, that's going to either include the stuff that we put into index.handlebars, or the stuff we put into about.handlebars, or the stuff we put into contact.handlebars. It'll put that stuff in there. Okay? All right. Let's go back then to index.handlebars, which is currently empty. In here, again, just so you know, this is where we're going to put the stuff. When we start, for now, we're going to put everything in here. We're going to eventually break this up, this stuff, into 3 files. We're not even going to create the other 2 files, the about.handlebars and the contact.handlebars, till I get this working. Right? And I have no doubt I'll have it working by Monday. Okay. So go back to your main.js file. All right, in your main.js file right now we've got add those necessary dependencies. Well, there's a couple that are missing. What do I mean? Well, go back again after usage. So go back to your window, your browser window, and after usage, which we just did, you see where it says app.js and there's a bunch of code in gray there? Can you see that? All right. You've already got that first line in there. Var express equal require express. You have that already. I'm not asking you. You've got that. You've got the third line in there already. The var app equal express. Grab the second line. Var exp hbs equals require express handlebars. Copy that to the clipboard. In Visual Studio Code, go into your main.js file and paste that one right underneath the const express equal require express. And change the word var, you know the drill by now, to the word const. So your first constant in there is const express equal require express, and now we just added const exp hbs equal require express handlebars. Do you have both those? Okay, good. All right, so let's go back and look at the rest of the code that's in there. So again, we've got that third line. All right. The next line that's in there says app.engine. And it's basically what that says is what kind of templating engine are we going to use? And it says we're going to be using handlebars and we're going to refer to it as expHBS because that's the name that we used up above. Does that make sense? All right. Then underneath that, we officially set the view engine. So we let the system know what it's going to be using and then we set it. So please grab those two lines, the app.engine and the app.set line, copy both those, copy both those to your clipboard. Go back into your main.js file and right under where so in between the const port equals and your app listen, all right, well, let's put a comment in there that says set templating engine. Right up above app.listen. So, and then paste those two lines in. All right. There's another thing that we have to do in here, and that is basically we have to let the system know that we're using this public folder that's in here. There's nothing in it yet, but remember that's where we put our images, which we want to grab and we want to be able to use. That's where we're going to put our CSS. That's where we're going to put any client-side JavaScript that we have. So first, let's go into your public folder. So click on your public folder and click to add a new folder in there. And make that folder CSS, then do it again on public, add a new folder, and put in JS, and then one more time on public, add a new folder, and call that images. Either IMG or the word images, it really doesn't matter. All right, so under public, you now have those three folders. Good, okay. All right. We have to now let our main.js file know that we're going to be using this, okay? And I believe that's just another const. So up at the top, right underneath where you just put in your const expHBS, hit enter, we're going to put in another constant. And it's going to say path equals require path. So set it up the same way, but just replace, like the expHBS, replace that with path, and it requires path. Make sense? All right. Now, we just put in some code that said set templating engine, right? Right up above that code that you put in for the setting the templating engine, most of the time where you put this stuff isn't going to matter. All right, I'm just trying to put it in where I think is kind of a logical order. You may or may not agree. But right up above where you've got the app.engine and the app.set, you probably put a comment in there. Right before that, put in another comment that says using public folder for static assets. All right. Then underneath that, and this is a little bit to type, app, everything I tell you right now, everything, all 100% lowercase. App.use, then in parentheses, the word express, period, the word static, another set of parentheses, and again, I'll repeat all this when we get done. The word path dot join, another set of parentheses. You know the difference between an underscore and a hyphen? Two underscores, followed immediately, no space, by D-I-R-N-A-M-E, dir name, comma, then in single quotes, the word public. You should have 3 parentheses at the end that should have been put in there for you automatically, and put a semicolon at the end. So I'm going to read that just to make sure you've got it right. App.use, left parenthesis, express.static, left parenthesis, path.join, left parenthesis, underscore, D-I-R-N-A-M-E, comma, space, in parentheses, the word public, not in parentheses, in single quotes, the word public, right parenthesis, semicolon. That again is telling the system that our static assets are going to be held in a folder named public. All right. All right, we're going to try one more thing. Hopefully this is going to work. Right up above where you've got that app.listen, you know, we put a comment in there that said verify all working thus far or something like that. Right up above that comment, put in another comment that says set route. And underneath that, put in app.get, a left parenthesis, single quote, /, so the one that goes this way, the one that's right near your enter key on the bottom, okay, comma, function, space, parenthesis, REQ, comma, RES, parenthesis, left curly brace, hit enter, then on a brand new line, that last line, it should have automatically put the right curly brace and the right parenthesis on their own line. Put in res.render, and in single quotes, I don't know if we need home or index, and we'll try home. We'll see if that works. All right, I'm going to read it again just because I want to make sure you've got it. So we put a comment in there that said set route, and underneath it, all in lowercase, app.get, left parenthesis, single quote, /, single quote, comma, space, the word function, space, then in parentheses, REQ, comma, RES, space, left curly brace, hit enter. Then on the next line, res.render, res, R-E-S, dot render, R-E-N-D-E-R, then in parentheses, in single quotes, the word home, semicolon. Then on the next line, a right curly brace, a right parenthesis, and a semicolon.
So the word home in single quotes?
The word home in single quotes, correct.
And then after that?
After the single quotes, you should have the other parenthesis, then a semicolon, then hit enter, and on the next line, all right, the right curly brace, the right parenthesis, and a semicolon. Okay, now I'm not trying to confuse you, but I just want to tell you this. That first line, that app.get, just so you see the other way. For now, get rid of the word function. Oops. Try that again. All right? Literally get rid of the whole word function. Keep the REQ, RES, let you have right there. Right after that parenthesis with the RES, hit the space bar, put in an equal sign, followed by a greater than sign. That's the other way you can write this. Remember we talked about that fat arrow syntax? I think that's cleaner to look at it that way. You may agree, you may not. If you like it better the other way, just change it back to function. It doesn't really matter. They should both work without any kind of problem. All right. Okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to go and put some stuff into our index.handlebars file. Right now that's empty. Okay, the first thing we're going to do that I want you to do is to go back into Get Bootstrap. And again, I'm doing this because I don't think you want to be typing all this stuff in. Am I right in assuming that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So under Get Bootstrap, under the components, do you still have the components on the left? Yeah. Find Jumbotron. Yeah. All right. We're just going to grab the first one that's there. See all that code that's right underneath it? Yeah. Grab all that code. Not much, 6 or 7 lines. Grab all of it and paste that right into the top of your home.handlebars or index.handlebars, whatever we call that. I think it was index.handlebars.
The main handlebars has other.
You don't want, yes, you don't want it in main.
Okay.
You want it in the index.handlebars file. All right? Okay, we're going to make 2 quick changes, 2 or 3. First of all, again, get rid of the hello world and change it with to node.js stock app. Okay? Where you've got that, this is what I gave you before. Unfortunately, I wrote a bunch of stuff by hand, and I gave you part of it from one half and part of it from the other half. I screwed up. So where you've got P class equal lead, get rid of everything. So we don't want any paragraph text in there. We just want the tags. Does that make sense, what I just said? So it should say inside of your brackets, P space class equal double quote lead double quote, then an ending P tag. All right?
Get rid of all that?
Yes. Get rid of all the text between there. Just keep the P tags. And also get rid of the A tag below. So it's 4 lines long right now. First line div class equal Jumbotron. Second line your H1 class equal display 4. Node.js stock app, end your H1 tag. Third line P class equal lead, end your P tag. Fourth line div. You got all that?
My fourth line has HR class equal.
No, you don't want that. Right. You just want the div. All right. So after you've done that, so after our Jumbotron, and again, we could do this, I'm trying to figure out, okay. Add an extra blank line or so, okay? And then go back into getbootstrap.com. In fact, before we do this, just so you've got them, you know the images that I gave you? Mm-hmm. Open those up and put those into your images folder. So what I'm saying makes sense?
Yeah.
Now, we haven't done any CSS on these, so they're probably going to look really bad, just so you know. All right. Because good, bad, or indifferent, I downloaded the big ones, so they're very huge, just so you're aware of that. So you put that stuff into your images, those 4 images in? All right, good. All right. So we're going to see if we can get those to work in just a couple of minutes. And I want you to go back into your Get Bootstrap again. And you still have your components on the left? I want you to find Carousel.
Okay.
All right. I remember the word that's for this. If you go down, you can either go down the stuff that's in the middle, or if you look on the right-hand side, you see where it says example, slides only with controls. Click on the one that says crossfade. I kind of like that one. The stuff will fade in and out. All right. So let's grab all of that code that you see right there. All right. And put that into your index.handlebars file and put that right underneath the div we just put in for the Jumbotron. All right. Now, if you look in there, if you look at your index.handlebars file, look at your images. They all say source equal dot dot dot, alt equal dot dot dot. You see that? Yeah. We don't want that. So go to the first one where it says source equal dot dot dot. It's the one that says active by it. Okay? You with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. And change that to source, put a period, slash, images, slash, nyse.jpg. If you want, I can say it again. So the first one, in your first image tag, it says source equals, double quote, period, forward slash, images, forward slash, nyse.jpg. Got that? Mm-hmm. All right, and change your alt also. Just put in the alt tag, just put picture of New York Stock Exchange, because that's what it is. Got that? Yep. Okay. Go to the second one, and where you've got the dot dot dot, change that to dot slash images slash bull, bull dot jpg. And for the alt tag, put picture of a bull. Got that one done? Mm-hmm. All right. Now, before we do the third one, right now it's got the dot, dot, dot and stuff in it, right? Mm-hmm. I want you to grab that whole div. So there's 3 lines, the div, class equal carousel item, the image, and the ending div. Mm-hmm. I want you to grab all 3 of those and make a copy, because we have 4 pictures. And we only have 3 of these. Do you understand what I just said? Mm-hmm. All right. So go to the third one here. And I'm trying to remember what those were called. So let's see. Go to the third one where you've got the dot, dot, dot. Maybe this one should have been first. I don't know, but it's fine. Source equal Wall Street, one word, dot JPG. And for the alt tag, picture of Wall Street, street sign. And then finally for the fourth one, put an image. Well, you put in the, before this one, you put in the dot slash images slash Wall Street dot JPEG, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't remember if I told you to do that or not. So for the last one, dot slash images, and that one I just called stocks dot JPG. And for the alt, just picture of a stock listing. Okay. Good time to save. All right. So underneath, so this is going to end up becoming, that'll be our about page later, okay? Now I was thinking about this, and I was going to put this under, but it probably should be above it. So in your in your index.handlebars file, we just put in a carousel. Okay, so we've got the Jumbotron, and underneath that we've got a carousel. Well, that Jumbotron's going to look pretty bare all by itself. For our homepage, it's going to end up. So in between the div for the Jumbotron and the div for the carousel, hit enter a couple times if you would, please. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to put another div in there and just say div class equal, we're going to call this home-text. It's a stupid name, but we're going to use that anyway. Okay? Then what I want you to do is I want you to please open up another browser window and go out to lipsum.com. You've done this before, right? We've done this before in other classes. All right, where it asks, go down a ways, about halfway down, it asks how many paragraphs you want. Choose 4. Your 4 are going to look different than my 4 because, again, they're randomly generated. Grab those 4 paragraphs that you just had, or just asked for. Copy them to the clipboard. Go back into your index.handlebars file. Drop them into that div. Now, right now, they're not in paragraph tags. Put each paragraph into p tags. Does that make sense? Did you get them?
No, my connection dropped for some reason.
Oh. Does that happen often to you in here?
I mean, with the rank and guess ones, yeah.
Oh, I guess.
I don't know why it does with those ones.
It may be that after we get done with this, that 3 is too many or 4 is too many, maybe you only want 3. It's not a big thing. You know how to remove that stuff anyway if you need to, so. I guess considering the fact that I'm not using that connection, that's one advantage I have.
Yeah, all the other ones require passwords, so I usually go and...
I see. Did it come back?
Yeah.
So again, I just want to make sure you've got this. At the top, you've got the Jumbotron in a div. Then you've got another div with home text that has your 4 paragraphs in it. Then you've got a third div, and that third div has got your carousel in it. Is that all correct?
Yep.
All right. Are you to that point? You've got all that in?
I have to fill in one paragraph.
Okay. Totally fine. After you get done with that, go down below the carousel and open up a blank line. Okay? Or a couple of blank lines. Okay, so you write it down at the bottom now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go back one last time to get bootstrap.com. And this time I want you on your side under your components. Excuse me, I want you to go to forms. And I gotta remember which one it is because I looked through these and I just want to give you the one that I used. I'll find it. Just give me a sec. Well, we'll just use this one. Either scroll down in the middle or looking at the things that are down on the right, there should be a thing there that says custom styles.
Yeah.
Okay, click on that. And you see the custom style with first name, last name, city, state, zip, etc. All right, grab that code. It's quite a bit. All right, that's why I didn't want to use that one, because it's got some JavaScript and stuff in it, but it's fine. We'll just use that one. Go back into your index.handlebars file, and at the very bottom where we are, paste that in. All right, now mine isn't working. I'm hoping that yours is going to work now. All right, so I'm going to try something with yours. Go in and where you've got your index.html file. Okay, close that file if it's open in the editor and remove the file. Yep. All right, now just do a file save all. All right, just save, that's fine. Hopefully everything's been saved. All right, go back where you've got Node running. All right, or is it, start it up again. So your npm space run dev. Good. Minimize that. Go back to your browser window and try your HTTP localhost and then whatever you use, 3,000 or 5,000, hoping it comes up and you'll get an error. See. Okay, it's not a big thing. Go back to main.js and change that to index. Save it. Try to refresh that page again. Okay, so this is what we got so far. It's something. It's not great. Okay, so you got those three. Start arrowing down. See what I mean when it's too big? Then you got that. All right. So eventually, what we're going to have is we're going to arrow up, if you would, please. This is going to be your home page. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. Your home page. This is your jumbotron, and these are your paragraphs. All right. Then as you arrow down, your next page is going to be your about page is going to be that right there with the carousel in it, and you could put some text in there or something else if you want to. And then on your last page, your contact page is going to be here. Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've got it all working. That's really, really good. All right. I'm just going to stop right there for today because mine, like I said, still isn't working. I'm getting all sorts of weird errors, that I've never ever even seen before. So I want to fix mine, and I want to get exactly to where you are, so mine looks exactly like yours. All right. Hopefully you feel like we made some progress because you started to build your first app now, and it's up to you. I mean, if you want, I don't know if you finished yet the written test for Unit 1, but if you didn't, work on that, and you can even work on the one for Unit 2. All right. because we still got a couple hours here. I said, maybe it even seems at times like, man, we're not doing anything in here, but we are, whether it seems like it or not.